Hey everyone, my name is MN and welcome to the first episode of the Minnesota Youth OCD Panel. I'm a Mayroniar and I've struggled with OCD since I was about 8 years old. This is a space where we open up and talk about what it's really like living with obsessive compulsive disorder, from the messy moments to the meaningful breakthroughs. Each week we're going to go through 3 sections. Today we're going to start off with our personal story, and then each week, secondly, we're going to have the daily do, or the topic of the day. And then third, we're going to talk about our mindful minute, which is basically just treatment of the day and relaxation method used to help calm down. And remember, we're here to educate, connect, and to remind every listener that you're not alone. Coming from someone that's really struggled with OCD and just now got over it, everyone has their own way of getting over it, and just always remember you're not alone, and this is why we're here. Alright, let's get started on our first segment, my personal story. So, like I said, I was growing up, and I didn't really know what OCD was, but around 8 years old, I started doing, let's say, like, weird things. I'd, tap the ground a couple times before I played football. When I got on the field, I'd have to tap the ball down twice, or my mind wasn't really satisfied. Going to the bathroom, I had a very strict routine. Going to sleep was very difficult towards my late middle school, high school years. Really affected my academics, really affected just daily life, affected my family relationships, because, I'd be up at 10 p.m. doing my so-called routines, obsessions, and compulsions, which would be like, say, going up and down the stairs a certain number of times. Before I had brushed my teeth, I had to go down twice in the mornings. There's a lot to do with numbers in my own case. We'll delve more into that in later weeks, but, just giving a quick recap, it's pretty severe case of it, I'd say. Talked to one doctor growing up. My parents always were very against medication, so I had to figure a lot of things out on my own, and I really got over it towards the course of middle to late junior year, where I grew aware of it. Actually, funny story, through AP psychology, and a big part of how I got over it was my faith. So, yeah, I guess just a quick overview of me. I guess let's get more into the technical side of it. Growing up, I didn't really know what OCD was. I thought it was just about being clean and organized, like parents were trying to figure out what was up with me. I don't like to say what was wrong with me because, was the strength at times in math, always found patterns quicker than other people. I'm getting off topic though, so I always thought OCD was about being like clean, organized, or, like stereotypes like washing your hands. But like, for me, it was mental loops, numbers, phrase, images. So for anyone out there listening, it's, whatever you're experiencing, it's your experience, no one else's. So make sure to get the help you need. So I guess going more into high school was when I was trying to figure out what was really going on. So, simple things like tying my shoes or brushing my teeth, turning off the light could take minutes or even hours, So I'd redo tasks until they felt right, which is, in a lot of the cases, what people describe as OCD. So if you are experiencing these, feel free to just send me a DM, leave a comment, whatever. I'll link everything down in the description. So please reach out. I'm here to help. Just never got much help growing up, which was due probably to lack of social awareness and just awareness in general. So that's why I made this forum, to make sure everyone gets the help they need. Anyways, going back to my topic, nightly homework stretched into the early morning because, my brain wouldn't stop checking. Things were perfect. It wasn't laziness or distraction. It was fear. Fear if I didn't follow through with the ritual, something bad might happen. But, the turning point was when I learned about OCD in AP psychology. It was just how I was wired. So I guess a quick overview, maybe a little breakthrough for someone out there, I hope, is the neurons that fire in your brain usually have a blocker for compulsions. Compulsions are the actions, obsessions are the thoughts in your brain. So with people that have OCD, an obsession hits their brain and the neuron fires, and usually the blocker that's there isn't as strong, or just is the obsessions are moving around so fast in your brain. The compulsion just has to happen. It's almost like an itch your brain can't scratch. So, can be a strength at sometimes, can also be a weakness. So yeah, that's about me. So we'll be back in a minute with segment 2. Leave any questions you guys have in the comments. Alright, time for the daily dip. Today we're just gonna keep it simple. Next week we actually do have a pro therapist joining us, so from Ballard Clinic in Minnesota. So stay tuned. So I guess, as you guys can tell by now, I am quite the yapper. Just love to talk. Always wanted something like this where I could just tell people about my story and just really help people out. Okay, now let's get to the story. So today the daily do is about OCD myths versus reality. So today's topic, myth number 1, OCD is just about being neat. Now I really want to get this point across. Obsessive compulsive disorder is not just about washing your hands or germs. It can be about anything. Usually harm is involved, so the obsession is there's a repetitive thought in someone's mind, and the compulsion is to solve that thought in mind. Truly it can be about anything. In my case, it was numbers. Harm can be about religion, health, relationships. It's not always about liking order. It's about needing control to silence the anxiety that's going on. Alright, let's talk about a different myth. Everyone's a little OCD. Everyone has quirks, like superstitions before a game. I played basketball growing up. My superstition was I'd always tap my right chest, or my left chest, and my right chest, and my left chest, and then point out, and then walk onto the court. So, that's a superstition. A lot of people have that. LeBron James, he does his dust thing. Curry, he runs to the baseline. Jason Tatum probably does something. I don't think everyone should be saying they have OCD, because it is a mental health disorder that hijacks your thoughts. It's not a personality trait. Obviously, it's funny when people say, oh, I'm so OCD, I gotta stay clean and neat, but it's not really the case with people with actual OCD. It's a condition that keeps people up at night, keeps them worried, their brain's wired, and it's really hard to deal with. So it's definitely a condition that deserves understanding, not just punchlines. Finally, for myth 3, you can just stop thinking about it. If only. The problem is not the thought itself, it's the intrusive cycle and the compulsions that come after. Treatment focuses on learning to tolerate uncertainty, not erase thoughts. The more we break these myths, the more we make our space for compassion for the people in this community, not for others, but for ourselves. Alright, I'll see you guys in a second, in segment 3. Treatment of the day. Okay, segment 3. The mindful minutes. Alright, let's try to keep this short and sweet because I'm already running over time. Today's tool is something simple but powerful. The 5-sentence reset. It's a grounding exercise that pulls you out of obsessive loops and back into the present. Let's try it together, wherever you are. Alright, so first, you're going to use your fingers and count 5 things that you can see. Name them out loud or in your head. When you're dealing with a compulsion, it can really help you center yourself and get you back in check with reality. Second, you're going to hold 4 fingers up. 4 things you can touch. Go feel things. A table, a water bottle, your AirPods, a bobblehead, anything. Feel the texture, think about the temperature. Can get your mind off what you're thinking. Hold 3 fingers up. 3 things you can hear. The sound of your voice, the way your lips crackle, the sounds in your house. Your mind should be relaxed by now. Shouldn't say should be, but as things try to get better, you will feel the difference. And, you'll see how this kind of stuff might work for you. It does. Hold 2 fingers up. 2 things you can smell. The food coming from downstairs smells delicious. The air, fresh. Hold 1 finger up. 1 thing you can taste. My dry breath. I have not had water in a minute. So, that's what I can taste. And then after that, just breathe. Through your nose, out your mouth. Through your mouth, out your mouth. Whatever works. If it doesn't fix anything, that's okay. But you will hopefully reclaim a small moment of peace. And that moment will hopefully bring more joy and hope to you. Alright. wrapping things up on our first episode of the MN Youth OCD Panel podcast. Today resonated with you. Remember, there's hope, and there's a whole community here for you in Minnesota ready to listen. Next week, we'll dive into OCD, and with the pro therapist will be joining us on the podcast. Until then, take your mindful minute today. Pause, breathe, and remind yourself you're not your thoughts. If you have any questions, any comments, anything you'd like to see, leave a comment, leave a DM. Please follow me on MN Youth OCD Panel and subscribe. Love having a big audience who can listen to me every day. Thank you. See you guys next time.